What is going on, good people? It is your boy glennlawrence, and I'm back with another episode of the Blerd Dad podcast. I can't even get the name of my own podcast correct. That is telling you something. This is the Blerd Dad podcast, a space where we have unfiltered conversations and nerd out about fatherhood. I'm your host, like I said, glennlawrence, and today we have a super special guest, and I can't wait to bring him on. So, that should be fun. We should have a good conversation. Good person, known him for a good minute here in the comedy scene. It's a good friend of mine. But before I do that, let me just go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors. As always, They Made Me Wear It. You should check them out. It's theymademewearit.it or theymademewearit.com. Either one. You go to those. It's going to get you to the site. You're going to see the site. It's beautiful. It's some dog stylists, and they're for the everyday parent. That's a pun on Paul. If you're a comedian, you shouldn't have to explain your jokes. Anyways, it's a husband and wife team, and they're on a mission to help discover the fashionable side of your pet. Whether it's an awesome Halloween costume, adorable dress, comfy jammies, scarves. I think I got them to do scarves, headbands, or a custom designer gown. They can do it all. And they will have your fur baby outfitted in the latest threads and fashions. And just remember, when you shop at their store, you are also helping to contribute to Hope for Paws, which is a great animal rescue organization. They help out with abandoned animals, not abandoned people quite yet, but they might be getting to that because apparently that problem is growing and increasing. But they will help the abandoned animals. So every time you click, you buy something, Hope for Paws is getting a little donation there. And while you're at it, if you use code word Blerd, you get 15% off at checkout. Look at that. Bam! We got all kind of scrolly things. We got, man, we're doing it over here. We're doing big things over here, man. One of the big things that we're doing is we're talking to our next guest. He's an amazing person. I didn't say before because I wanted to bring it out right now. Tell you, we're talking to Nick Deez, man. He is he's, I don't know if that's his real name. I think it's his real name, but I don't know. Who knows? But he's homeported in Virginia Beach. He grew up an only child, which helped him develop his quick wit and warped sense of humor. He's performed in comedy clubs across the U.S. and is a regular at Richmond and Virginia Beach Funny Bone clubs. We're going to ask him if I could get on some shows there. Look for all his crowd work, and his all crowd work album just came out. It came out, I think, a year ago. I listened to it. It was very solid. I really enjoyed it. We're going to talk more about that. It's called Tell Me More, and it's currently streaming on all platforms. But with that said, I think we need to bring out our guest today, the one, the only, the incredible Nick Deez. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm good, man. How did you like the intro? Was that solid?
It's a good intro. Yeah, let's see if that's better.
It was something, right?
There we go. Oh yeah.
Dude, how you been, man? I haven't talked to you in a minute. I don't think I've talked to you since you came out to Woodbridge.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't really complain. I've just been like working like crazy, trying to stay busy and, doing dad stuff and comedy stuff, and it's working pretty well.
Yeah, how's the juggling, the dad stuff and the comedy stuff? See, that's what we'd like to talk. That's what I like to talk about the most here, because like I started this podcast when I was about to have the kid, and I was like, when you're like, what do I do? I'm jumping into this thing, you know what I mean? Like what is it going to be? So I thought I'd holler at people and get like advice on stuff. So like, what's your advice? You know what I mean? And as being a comedian and a father.
You know what? This is like the cool thing for me lately is I've been really lucky in a sense that like I've been able to, now that my schedule's kind of changed a lot, I pretty much like have all the weekends off. So I only work like my regular job. I work, I think it varies, like Sunday to Wednesday or like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever. It just depends on like what they need me for.
Right.
But yeah, I've had like tons of free time lately to hang out and do family stuff with the kid and everything. And it's, dude, it's super helpful. So I've been able to like, not only like juggle better, but balance better, which is really nice,
Mm.
So we got the kid, he's in jujitsu. He's been doing it for like the last couple years, but he's at like a new gym now, and he actually just started competing this year, which is really cool. So
How old,
yeah, we're
how old is
super
he?
excited for him.
How old is he?
9.
Okay.
He just turned 9 this year. Yeah.
So is he starting to turn? You know, there's like that corner that they turn where all of a sudden they could beat you up. You know what I mean? Is he starting to turn that corner, or is he still like far away from?
Oh, dude, no. I can still take him. I can still 100%. I can still take him.
But do you watch his like practices? You were like, ooh, if he hit me with that move, I don't know what I like. Are you
Oh yeah,
trying to counteract the moves before it gets to that level?
always, always, because he'll try and put like submissions on me and his mom all the time, and she's like not nearly as like okay with it as I am. She's like, dude, stop doing that. And yeah, but I mean, it's fun, it's cool. Like, he really like he's trying to dial in super hard, and he's like adamant on like wanting to compete and stuff now, which is really cool. Because the other gym that he was at, like he really didn't have that same type of energy towards it there.
Uh-huh.
So like now it's really cool to see him like get to a spot where he's like, no, this is what I want to do with it. So it's
Was
super
it was
nice.
it was it the change in gym? Was it like there's somebody at the gym who's more competitive that kind of changed up his demeanor, or was it like
He's got a he's got a buddy at the gym that he's going to now that's like a friend of his from school. So like they basically go together, and they do like all types of like they'll roll together and everything. And yeah, he's loving it. He's loving it just because it's like an actual like friend there with him.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. You gotta steer them towards good friends, because there's so much you can do as like I feel like a parent to guide them in the right path. You just have to guide them to like good friends, like who have good hobbies, and you know what I mean, who have like good hobbies and like stuff. I was just saying like you
Yeah,
gotta guide
that's
them.
like
Yeah,
I think that's like the biggest thing is like making sure that you're like keeping them around like good people, you know?
yeah, dude. Not keeping them around comedians.
I know, yeah, that's, like, the worst part. So well, this is, like, a thing so you're talking about, like, keeping them around comedians and stuff. Uh, so, like, it's been a thing that me and a couple buddies have been working on, like, kinda in silence for the last few months. Uh, so we, like, started this thing called Kids Do Comedy, and the goal is to, like, teach kids, like, how to do stand-up and everything.
Oh, nice.
And, like yeah, so it's me, another comic, and, a friend of ours. It's us kinda running it, and then all of our kids basically are, like, the guinea pigs for, starting this whole thing up. And when I told him about it originally, he was like, "You mean to tell me, like, I get to go on stage, I get to do jokes and stuff, like, I get to do what you do?" And he was immediately, like, all in, like, he's on
Nice.
board for it. Yeah, he's
Nice.
got the bug because the other day we were talking, he's like, "Am I getting paid for this show?" And I was like, "Damn,
Ah!
dude, damn, bro."
It's like,
Dude,
so
it
you
was
were
so funny.
did you find yourself in the role of producer be like, not this one, son, it's just for exposure?
Yeah, right, I'm doing that where I'm like, "Dude, listen, man, I'm teaching you about the craft, okay? You're getting paid in exposure, your name's getting out there." Like, I had to hit him with that, like, bar show, like, attitude.
You got to, dude. It's funny. Once I started producing shows, I started understanding more about, like kind of that aspect of it. And I can see like both sides of it now. Like, because you produce shows too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you like see both sides of it where it's like, come on, bro. You got someone has like barely like 5 minutes or 3 minutes, you know what I mean? And they're like, am I getting paid? And you're like, all right. At a certain point, like, come on, like I understand a lot of like as comics, we should get paid. You know what I mean? We're like if
Oh,
the
for sure.
shows get, but there are some times where it's like you honestly do need exposure. You need this mic, you need to get it, whatever. So it's like there's a benefit. So it's like it's like a double-sided coin. I feel like people have to understand both sides of it because it does take a lot of work to actually like put on a mic, you know what I mean, get the equipment, get everything set up, and also schedule, you know what I mean, like that is like a big part of it too, and figuring out lineups and all that type of stuff. So it's like I do see where it's like
Oh, yeah, it's way more involved than what people think, for sure.
yeah, man. But so I have like it on good authority that you kind of took the plunge, bro. You're like you're going like full time with the comedy. Like, what's that like? Is that nerve wracking?
Whew, dude, it's super intimidating for sure, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like, it's a thing that you know, it kind of got to a spot where like at my regular job, my boss was like, "Hey man, look, like you have so much stuff coming up. And like we really need to talk about your availability and everything like that, like where you're at." And
Yeah.
you know, because I was putting in requests like almost every weekend to basically be out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, I'm like trying to run and do all these like actual like show dates and stuff, you
Yeah.
know, and like it's to the point now where like there's actual like money involved in it, you know, it's not just a $20 bar show, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
There's like money on both sides
you
because it's
know,
like money from your job and then money that you're getting paid for the. So it's like, you know, you're trying to like balance that weight. I feel like.
oh yeah. But it's cool because like my boss is super like he's super supportive, man. He's a good dude and like the whole way he's just, you know, pretty much had my back and he's like, "Look, man, like I want to see this get to a spot where like you have no choice but to go part-time." And that kind of was like a thing recently where it was like, "Okay, yeah, no, that time is now." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
Nice.
So, you know, it
Congrats.
made it really nice. It was a cool, you know, it's a cool problem to have. Like having a job that I work 40 hours a week for the last 10 years, you know, have that become a thing that like the the door is opening even like further to be at a spot where it's like,
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I'm very interested to see what is going to happen when he pops back in. The feed cut out there, but I will say this: I totally get the plight of not having or having someone be like really supportive of what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's like very. I was talking to a comedian about this before, and he said that his boss was basically like yeah, I need you like go ahead and do your thing. I want you to get so good that basically um like you don't need to work here anymore. I don't want you to work here anymore. And I think that's a big part, man. That's a big part. And it's hard to get to that point, you know what I mean, where basically you've done it and you're at the point that you can like lift off. It's almost like trying to fly, like a bird flapping its wings. You know, sometimes you like run or it runs on the little like runway and then it has to like shoot, like jump off. And then it's floating. And then once you're floating, can you stay afloat? That's the biggest thing. You know, it's just it's a crazy thing for comedians to have to worry about and try to navigate, you know what I mean, taking that plunge. But it's a worthwhile experience, and I'm sure, you know, Nick, once he pops back in here, will agree, or maybe he won't. Maybe maybe I gotta ask him that. I gotta ask him, is he like, is he seeing the fruits of the labor, or is he like, is it making him hit it harder, or is he like, maybe I should turn back? I think that's the hard part too, when you decide to do it, then you're like you're done with it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're like you go full in. You know what I'm saying? Um Hold on, we got him back here. Boom, got you back there.
sorry.
Nah, no worries, man. But yeah, we just I was just kind of uh talking about that point about when you do it, you know, it's almost like you're a bird flapping your wings, you know what I mean? Or like you're like an airplane like trying to take off, and then you do it and then you got to take off and then you hope that you can like stay afloat or stay flying or whatever, which is super scary. And I guess the question is, do you see the fruits of the labor? Or are you like kind of like, oh shit, maybe I should turn back?
No, I mean, it's definitely like, you know, it was super nerve-wracking because I set a hard date, you know, July 1st was like, that's when I'm gonna, you know, make the plunge and start letting comedy kind of take the front seat to like where my finances goes, you know, versus like doing comedy part-time and working full-time, you know.
Yeah.
And I've been super lucky because it's like once I did that, I kind of put that energy into the atmosphere and like put it out there. And I've just been getting like super rewarded for like kind of making that jump, you
Yeah.
know. Uh, it's really nice because it's like the universe was just like, hey, we know that this is what you want to do. We know that it's what you're trying to do. So now let's throw it to you.
Yeah.
Um, it's super cool, you know.
Was was there like a was there like a dollar amount or like a milestone in terms of like getting something paid off where you were like, all right, now I'm ready to do it? Because here's my dilemma is like, you know, just had the kids, you know, or just had a kid. I hope I don't only have one, but just had the kid,
I was like,
and
man, you
then
had a second one?
yeah, right, working fast. But then also, you know, getting like a house and getting all these new bills and everything. And I'm like, okay, I'd like to do it because before the pandemic, I felt like we were on a good trajectory. Like we were getting like a
Mhm.
lot of town like shows out of town dates and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I should do this. You know, it was definitely like minimal money, but you know that point where you're like where you start doing the math, you start adding it up because you're getting like so many things. And then I was like, I should
Right.
do it. And then the pandemic happened, and I was like, maybe I should sit my ass down. Maybe I should just I should just chill for a second and see how it all plays out.
But
But
I feel like the pandemic was like that for like a lot of comics at our level. Like the people that were like, man, I really want to like grind on this and see what I can do with it. And then COVID happened, and then everybody that was our, you know, at our level that was like getting host work at clubs or that was like on the edge of like moving the needle forward to be booked more or whatever the case may be, every single person, like everybody kind of took two steps back in line, and it went from like, okay, well, these comics are headliners. Now they're featuring on some of this stuff. Or like a
yeah,
lot of club features got bumped back down to host because headliners were bringing all their own guys just to try to like help people eat, you know?
right. Yeah, man. It was a tumultuous time. And you know, I could have spent that time. I mean, I did spend that time like writing jokes, and I feel like I came out of it with like new bits and new things. I've seen some people who came out of it like and have like the same stuff, and I'm like, how the world totally changed. But I came out of it with new bits, but a lot of it was spent, you know, just making babies, like trying to like doing that.
Hmm.
I probably should have
There
spent
you
less
go.
time like making the babies. But one thing that I did do that I think we haven't you said no, keep make trying to I like practice, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? That's what I like to do. I
Well,
like
yeah, I mean, they say it makes perfect, which is
yeah,
good. So like
yeah.
there's that part at least,
You
you
gotta
know.
hit those practice swings, bro. No, but one thing that I did do during the it was like a little bit earlier in the pandemic. Like as a matter of fact, I dropped it the very last day of 2020, which I think was the year when everything went crazy. But I made a special. I made like a little album recording, and it was cool. It was that's like most comics. When you start talking about your own album, they just like kind of tune out. They're just like no, but no, I made the what you call it? I made the album. It was dope. It was like a good time. And I liked it. I would love to like do another one because I feel like there was so much happening then and like I was like kind of rusty or whatever. But I saw your album and I was giving it a listen and it sounds awesome, man.
Thanks,
what was
man.
thinking that?
So it was like, you know, it was kind of this thing that I told myself that like I wanted to do something big by the time I hit 5 years. And that like when I did that, that was a thing that I had like leading up to. I was like, this is it. Like this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna record, you know, record an album or whatever. And me being me, just because I like doing crowd work so much, it just kind of seemed like the logical route to go was like
Hmm.
do a crowd work album just because it's like fun, it's organic, it's something that like I always feel like crowd work shows are so much fun because it's like in the moment, you know, you can't
Right.
really like you can't replicate that on another show unless it's something that comes out, you know, like it's a interaction that's so good that you like make a bit out of it or something, you know, after the
Right.
fact. But it's like I like it because it's like, you know, you could do written material. I know it sounds like such a cop out thing to say because it's like everybody should focus on actually like writing jokes and stuff like that, sure. But like, you know, crowd work is cool because it's like a thing that like you could do two different shows back to back and it's not the same experience,
Right.
you know? So like you're giving each audience that pays to see you a unique show that happens just within those people that were there. And it's something like that group as a whole, when they go home, they get to be like, oh, you know, that lady in the front row that was like, you know, on her phone or whatever. And like, it makes it more than just being like, hey, so this is this joke that I wrote and I performed, you know, hundreds
Right.
of times at all these different places. And, you know, a couple thousand people have seen that joke.
it makes it like very like personal, I feel like. And I feel like
Mhm.
when you're personal and personable to the audience, that's when they get really into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I tend to hate that feeling of like when you go up there, like the worst thing is when you have to go up there and you have to do a set amount of time, right? So you're gonna like you have to go and just do your set, which is fine because usually, you know what I mean, the jokes are, they're there, they're written, people are gonna laugh or whatever. But it sucks when you have, like when you have a small piece of time and then someone says something, you're like, ooh, I wanna dive in on
Yep.
that. And then you're like,
Yep.
nope, I gotta be a pro and you know what I mean? Like stick to the grind, you know what I'm saying? That one that hurts, but it is what it
See,
is.
it's weird. I wish I had more of that because there's times where I'm like, people talk about like intrusive thoughts. I hear
Yeah.
one thing in a room and I will immediately throw out a signal flare and I'll abandon the ship and be like, yo, there it is. There's the ship. But here I
Yeah,
am
right.
swimming in the water to like, I'm like, yo, I'm going after the big whale. I got to catch this thing real quick.
It's like,
And
let
it's
me
like,
yeah.
you can't help it.
Right. I mean, I feel like that's what. See, here's my thought on comedy is like, and people have different variant thoughts. Like some people are like, I got up there, I gotta do my set, I gotta do my bit. But I
Mhm.
approach it kind of like you're there to like entertain or whatever. So it's
Yeah.
like I love doing my bits because I think they'll be entertaining, but there's something else more entertaining, and that's what the crowd is looking for. Like I kind of want to veer into that because I don't know, I guess it's more fulfilling for me to make everybody have like a good time and enjoy it versus like, ooh, I have this thing I really want to say that I got to get out and say.
Yeah. I think that like, it's weird because there's a lot of comics that I think get caught up in that whole like, I almost feel like it's weird because it's like not just like a newer comic thing. I feel like there's comics that are like pretty well seasoned that do it too, but it's like being so locked into like these are the jokes I want to do, this is what I want to say, this is what I have planned, that like you absolutely refuse to have any sort of like leeway one direction or the other on like
Right. On what you want to say. Look, man, we're so good. We're almost like finishing each other's sentences. It's like,
engaging in it
wait,
versus like those people that like something will happen and they just don't acknowledge it at all whatsoever, and they're just like they miss out on an opportunity to get like a good laugh by just
yeah.
being like, I'm going to keep going with this joke, as opposed to like addressing it and letting the room be like, oh yeah, you guys heard that too, oh okay.
But by the way, if you notice that I'm like just talking like because sometimes you're cutting out, so then I'm just like filling in your sentences. Like just now, I was like, oh yeah, we're finishing each other's sentences because like your sound or whatever cut out. So just FYI, like that has happened or whatever. So if you notice that I'm just like talking and
That's
like
what I
saying,
figured.
I'm like
I'm
trying
like,
to, I'm
I
like,
was
all
on
right,
my
let me.
Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi here sucks.
Oh no, I didn't know that, dude. I would have what you call it. I don't know what I would have did. I would have did the same thing. There's
Right, you're
no
like, I would have fixed your Wi-Fi, I'm so sorry. You're such a good
I know.
dude, man. You're such a good dude. You're like, I'll drive all the way there and fix your
You
shitty
know,
internet. And I'm
you
like,
know,
yeah, I know.
do you know Joey Coon? Have you met Joey Coon before? Dead Horse Comedy.
I haven't met him in person, but I did the flyer for that, and I did like the
Oh,
logo
nice.
for Dead Horse.
That's a great segue. I was just gonna say Joey Coon. One time I was at a party and like because I just I'm bubbly and I'm always like cheery or whatever. And I said hello to somebody and said, oh, like, nice shirt or whatever. And then like I said hello to someone and I was like, oh cool, like, nice glasses. And then Joey came up to me, he's like, dude, that was like 7 compliments in a row. Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I had to like think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, am I being too like effusive with like, oh, like nice to see you or whatever? Because it just like
You're
pours
like,
out of me.
good hair, good socks, nice shirt, beautiful people. All right, hey, how are
Hey,
you?
how you doing? It's like it's just a weird thing. By the way, speaking of art, because you said you did the flyer for that. I am rocking the old school shirt. I don't know if you noticed that. I
I
had to do
saw
that.
that. I saw that off
Yeah,
rip.
dude.
I when I saw the top part, I was like, that looks familiar. And then I was like,
Yeah,
oh shit, that's me with blonde hair. That was the
yeah.
first shirt that I got made. I actually um I paid a girl to design that one for me. That was like
Oh,
before
nice.
I started doing any sort of artwork at all for myself. And before I did anything for anybody else either. Uh, I like paid her however much it was for that. And then like sitting afterwards, like I've had my iPad like sitting And I got an iPad Pro. I spent all this money on it for a reason, so that I could like draw and stuff
Right.
on it. And I paid somebody else, and like me being me, I'm like thinking about it afterwards. I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah, right, right,
Like,
right.
I was like, I could have just drawn it myself and come up with something and then been able to say like, oh yeah, I did the artwork for that too, whatever. So then I was like, all right, well, I want to get stickers made, because like stickers is smart. It's like a fun, easy thing you can pass out at shows. If you make a few bucks on them, cool,
Right, right.
whatever. But it's like not a huge like monetary hurdle to like get stickers made. It's like a couple $100. So I was like, all right, well then I'll draw it myself, and I did, and I started drawing more stuff just for myself at first, and eventually started getting people that were like, "Hey, will you draw? Will you do this for me? Like, I have an idea for this thing I want." And I think now it's been like I think like 2+ years that I've been doing all the like drawing stuff and everything.
I
And
know.
I've gotten to work with a lot of like really cool people, like some like big touring comics and stuff. Uh, which is like super cool, because it's a thing that I never would have. I guess I never would have really like dove into it if I wasn't so cheap. So it's like
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I want to support other artists, but I was like, also I don't want to fucking spend money on shit that I'm like I could do myself. Let's,
You know
you
what?
know,
I think this was the realization after I bought your shirt. I'm like, what? Like, wait a minute, why am I not selling shirts? I need to have a shirt. Like what?
dude.
So it's like the same thing. Which, by the way, like I don't know if you've seen like the logos or whatever that we have, which I thought were pretty cool. But I'm like, I think it's about time that we like update our logos. I think
Is that
that's
the level up one?
yeah, the level up logo. It's it that we I don't know if you know Eric Kucheravi. I guess he's a rival comic graphic artist in the in the area, but he's the one who did like ours. And I was just thinking like, I wonder like if I were to do it again, because now have like the podcast and all this other stuff that's going on. I'm
Mhm.
like, I wonder if I should like update it and do it again. Plus, it's been a couple years now, so I guess logos get stale, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think because like the first one I did for my stickers was like this very super like simple stylized like cartoon version of my face. And then the other ones, which I haven't gotten printed yet, are like way more realistic looking, and I
Mm,
drew those out too. And like the only reason I think that I haven't made stickers of those yet is because the way my head is shaped on it,
uh-huh.
I can't figure out what font I want to put my Instagram handle in underneath my
Yeah.
beard. So I'm like,
Yeah.
that's the only reason I haven't made stickers of that yet, is because I'm like so indecisive that I'm like, I don't know. So I just haven't used it yet.
Do you have a Twitter handle as well, or do you not do, or X or whatever the thing is now?
So I have a Twitter, but I never use it. But like I've made this year, I made like a drawing profile, like an Instagram just for my drawing stuff. Um,
Oh snap! What is it?
and so it's Doodles by Deez,
Nice. That's a good name.
right? It was, it's got a nice like clever ring to it.
Yeah,
But
right.
I
It's
I
got
did
the
that, and
alliteration.
yeah, I started putting like some of the stuff that I've done on there, and I try to keep up with that pretty regularly. Um, but yeah, that like so I have that, and then like this year I finally like made a website, and my website, like, it has like a link to my personal Instagram on there, and then like my drawing Instagram, so that I didn't have to do. This
Does
goes
it
back to
have
being
the
cheap.
Does it have the drawing Instagram on there? Look at this. This is it. Look at that. Doodles by D's. Yo, you got some dope
Yep.
stuff on there, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you got something from Shane Gillis on there. You did a little Shane Gillis
Yeah, I did
situation.
that when I worked with him at Sandman like a couple years ago. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's like, the one with the kid, I drew that for him. There's Winston's flyer, TJ's,
Yeah, TJ.
uh, you know,
Yo,
did
I
stuff for
got.
Ari.
I'm a oh David Lucas too. Okay, all right. Look at that. Doodles
Yeah, if
by
you
D's. Look
click,
at
I
this.
think like if you click the first couple pictures, I think the one with the two heads on it in the bottom, like the first couple posts I made were like multiple things. If you
Like this.
go
This here public
not
house.
that, it's the one with let's see here. It's the Geek Night one at the bottom. I think that post has like a bunch of different stuff with it. And that like there's other like David Lucas flyers that I did on that one. There
Wait,
it
what?
is,
Oh,
to
Geek
the
Night.
right.
Here it is. Okay.
I think
Nice.
that post I think had like a bunch of different images posted with it.
Well, who's this in the corner talking about leveling up? What is what's that about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get you to do a level up one. We have to talk offline about
Yeah, man, that'd be
getting to
cool.
do a level up one because I do want to do like see here's the thing. I'll tell you, you know what I mean? You're here. I got you trapped unless your Wi-Fi cuts out again. But I was like, so before the pandemic, I was preparing to do like a little like album or special taping. And I was gonna call it Kites from the Crate because it's like based off a joke that I have about my dog or my girlfriend's dog or whatever. So that was what the album was supposed to be. But then the pandemic happened. And I was like, I don't want to put it out because I feel like, you know, there's no crowds and it's going to be smaller. So I did a different one called Live from the Living Room. And the artwork for that was you remember It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Oh yeah, of course.
Where like
Great show.
yeah, where Charlie has the he has the he has all this stuff like it's a conspiracy theory like board or whatever. So I was
Yeah.
like, you know, it was a crazy time. So it's like, you know, all these things are like floating around. So the artwork that I did was just mine. It was based on that little that whole situation. And so I did artwork based on that. But what I want to do is I actually want to uh do the special that I was thinking about doing to begin with, Kites from the Crate, which I have not made artwork, and I feel like you would probably like probably crush it if you were doing that situation,
Oh
the
yeah.
Kites from the Crate. I feel like you could make it like really really special.
Yeah, man. Well, let me know, dude. You know, I'm always down to help out, and I like doing stuff. Like that's like the cool thing. I've been able to, work with there's like some like I said, some bigger name comics that I've like done stuff for that have like, shared my stuff. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
I thought it was funny. You know what? It got a little bit of
That
love.
face is that face is hilarious.
I feel like this should have got way more love than it got. You know what I mean? When I put it out, I thought it was. Have you seen it? Have you seen my special? Have you listened to it?
No, I didn't know that I don't know how I missed it, but I didn't know that you put that out.
Damn, Nick. Damn. No, I'm joking.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
send
I'm
it
a
to you.
piece of shit.
It's all good, dude. Nobody, not a lot of people saw it, but I like, you know, it was one of those things where I did not know what was going to happen during the pandemic or how things were going to be drastically changed. So I was like, at least I'll record something and have something out that I used to do this. You know what I mean? And it
Right.
turned out all right, but there's, you know, obviously there's a lot of things like circling. Like I didn't get to practice beforehand. Like I had no mics or anything because basically, you know, everything was shut down. So it was like I didn't like get any practice in and there's like a little special thing that happened at the end of it. I won't spoiler if you do happen to see it. Just stay for the credits because it's a very special moment at the end. It's like a Marvel movie, you know what I'm saying? Like I tried to do the
Oh,
whole thing.
okay.
So it was kind of fun. And I think the jokes are bearable. I think, you know, there's things in there people laugh at. But no, it was a good time like doing that. But yeah, the second album, Kites from the Crate, I definitely think like, you know, we should rap about it
Yeah.
and then see what happens. Unless of course, you know how we are. We're comedians, we're kind of like finicky, like the idea might change. It might
Right.
all of a sudden.
I had this like before I did my crowd work thing, I was like, yeah, I got all these jokes about like eating fast food and all this other shit. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna put out my first album it'll be called Life in the Drive-Through. And
Yeah.
then like I stopped eating fast food like I eat McDonald's like once every now and then now, like but I don't eat like that anymore. Like I made it a point to like try to lose weight and stuff, during COVID or after COVID. And now I'm like, yeah, that idea is gone.
Yeah.
We'll scrap that. I'm like,
You know what
that's
you know
completely
what's so
not. I like all those jokes. I did like a couple of them the other night with a buddy of mine on like a show that we did.
right. But you know what's crazy is like the like like if you take a step back, realistically, you could do that still, right? Like you could just say the jokes again that you used to say. But I feel like there's something about being like real that like I feel like, you know, it comes through, and it probably it definitely comes through in your comedy. It probably comes through in my, I think it does come through in my comedy, but it's like an authentic nature to do it. So once you go
Yeah.
past that moment and you're like, now I'm not even eating fast food, it just sounds like I don't know about you, it just like sounds fake in my head to like say jokes that I'm like, this isn't
Oh yeah.
like the life that I'm living now
It
anymore.
felt like a stolen valor situation where I'm like, I'm not that fat anymore. Now I'm telling jokes about like sitting at McDonald's, and people are like, what?
What? Yeah, it's like that doesn't work. I think that's that authenticness, which I don't know. It just that's what makes crowd work so like solid, because you're like
Mhm.
being your most authentic self. Do you like doing crowd work better than like do you like it when you get a good like crowd work setting, or do you rather like have your like set be the driving factor?
That's like, dude, that is the crux that I've like put on myself. So like being a guy that like there's people like nearby that I'll go up on shows and I'll do crowd work and stuff like that, and I'll get like a good moment out of it, right? And
Yeah.
then like without fail, there's always somebody after the show that's like, man, your crowd really
Oh,
like your crowd work. And it's other comics and stuff like that. Other
wait,
comics will
say that
compliment.
again. You cut out. What did you say? You said
Oh,
they'll be like what?
so there's moments where like I'll go up and I'll have like a good crowd work moment, and then people will come up to me, like comics more often than not will come up after shows and be like, "Man, that was so good. Like, I don't know how you do that, whatever, blah blah blah." And I go, "Hey, thanks. I really appreciate that." And then I'll go, "But what about my jokes? Like, what about the shit that I work hard to write? No one's ever like, oh my God, dude, I absolutely love those jokes that you do about blank, blank, and blank. Like, oh man, I can't wait to hear you do that joke again or whatever." So I'm always like, God damn it, dude. Like, it's such a weird cross to bear of like,
It
I
really,
want to
yeah,
work on my material, but I also want to be good at crowd work because I want to be able to do both, you know? But
yeah,
it does sting a little bit when you do, you know, 10 minutes worth of jokes and you have one like quick crowd work thing that hits really hard, because then it
right,
just
right.
takes away from all the jokes that you did, and people are like,
Oh,
yeah, but like that thing that happened that you can't reproduce, that was so much funnier, and you're like, God damn it.
yeah. Well, the worst is when you like go up and do a set, and then you get like a good like interaction crowd work moment at the very beginning of the set, because it's like, oh damn, nothing's gonna be funnier than like, you know what I mean, like that moment, and I still got what, like, you know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes left, you know, all to say like, I'm trying to work back up to that initial laugh about some, you know, chick named Stacy or dude named Kevin.
See, and then that part's tough because it's like if you start off your set with like a big crowd work pop, and then you try to go directly from that into material, a lot of the times it's like tough because it's like you kind of almost set the bar that like this is the energy I have for the rest of my set. You know what I mean? Of like,
Yeah,
that's how I'm gonna do the set is like, and then in my head too, I'm like, I'm such a weirdo. Like, if I set that like tone up front and I get a really good pop on crowd work, part of me starts doing this mental math where it's like, should I just do crowd work then? Is that like
yeah,
what I need to do to have a good set? Like, is
yeah,
that
yeah.
what they want? And it's
Dude,
like,
I practice this thing, and this is, you know what I mean, this is like you're on the podcast, you know what I'm saying, we're getting close here. I practice this thing, it's called joke weaving. It sounds like some
yeah,
old witchcraft type shit, but it's just like whenever I write my joke, or yeah, like I'm writing my joke or whatever, I try to put like the beginning and the ends in a conversational tone. So whenever we're talking about something, if someone is saying something that's kind of close to what I'm saying, I can like actually weave in the joke, and then it's almost like the crowd work weaves into a joke, which is funny, and then I'm back to material. You know what I mean? So it's like
yeah.
they don't notice the transition of it. Like that. That's a secret. I shouldn't even be saying that on a podcast. People are going to know about it. But I call it joke
Ideally,
weaving.
though, but I feel like that is like that's the thing is like that moment right there is that like that for me is like when I know that I had a really good set
Right.
is like
Right.
when comics will come up afterwards. Now, normally it's like, hey, I really like that crowd work. Your crowd work's great, whatever, blah blah blah. But when you're going from crowd work into jokes that match what you're talking about with the crowd work, or vice versa. You're doing a
Right.
joke and then a crowd work thing happens organically, and then you use that to like float you into the next bit, and you're kind of like riding the wave, and you're using those crests to launch you into the next like chunk of material. That's when it's like, oh shit, this is when you know that you're just hitting that like stride,
Yeah.
and that's when everything starts to feel good.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Speaking of feeling good and riding the wave, you are in an interracial relationship. So I see that was like an
I was like,
attempt.
she's white. She's white.
I was just joking.
I was gonna,
No,
I
but
was gonna, yeah,
it's like,
sure,
yeah, right.
yeah.
No, no, I was just the only reason I said that is because I know that you in your bits you talk about being a stepdad a little bit, and then you talk about like you have like a you I thought you were in a racial relationship at one point, maybe not now, but at one point, and I was
She's always
you
been white.
has she always been white?
I have mixed. So I have the joke. I know what joke you're. So I start off that joke by being like, I have a black stepdad, but I also have a black stepson. So I just like to tell people that it skipped a generation.
Right,
Which like
right.
originally when I wrote that joke, that was it. It was just like, almost like a one-liner joke, and I just let it be. And afterwards, like I did it a few times, and it kept doing really well. And I was like, well, let me expand on it, because like my stepson is half Hispanic, and that's like the other part
Okay,
of the joke.
okay,
Uh, but yeah, no. So I have a bunch of material about having mixed race family too. Is like being a white guy in a mixed race family. Uh,
dude. I
yeah, so it's like I got all that.
listen, the reason why I was saying is because I'm in an interracial relationship too, and it's just like I think that's kind of a funny thing that people like a lot of people don't think about or whatever. Like one thing that I've been toying with or playing with in terms of jokes of like I'm in a interracial relationship, which basically means that I can't complain about my wife in front of black people because they'll be like, that's what you get for messing with the white women.
Pretty much. You're like, anytime she makes you mad, they're like, see, that we try to tell
See,
you, white women are the devil.
that's what you get. That's what you
Yep.
get. So it's like, I'll get no sympathy. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like,
they're like, a black woman would never stress you out over some dumb shit like that. And you're like, well,
yeah, like,
maybe.
possibly, but it's funny because it's like we'll never know because I'll never be able to complain in public. Yeah, like I can't. Like I'll be, you know what I mean? I can't do it. Although, my wife is sitting here helping produce the show, and I would never complain about her anyway because she is a gem. She
Oh,
never
she's the best.
yeah, she never frustrates me at all. I love her dearly, don't I, honey? Look, every time she puts across the scroller to let me know that she's listening, but she's not responding. She's just like, yeah. Every time I see that scroll, I'm like, does that mean I'm in trouble? Is it?
That's so funny.
Dude, what do you got coming up next? What have you been up to? What do you got going on in the near future?
Oh man, I'm always like, I feel so weird when I'm like on my own podcast. Like my co-host is like newer than me, so I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you have coming up? And he's like, I don't know. And then I'm like, okay, well, this is all the stuff that I'm doing. And he's like, you fucking suck. I fucking hate you.
Yeah, right.
When's this actually like come out? Is it like,
So I'll tell you what, because we were supposed to do this on Monday. Usually I do it like live, and it'll
okay,
like stream, and so it'll be out like whenever we finish recording, and then like the next day or so
wait,
I'll like put it out on all the things. But this will probably, because I just had one that came out this Monday, so I'll probably put this up maybe this weekend, I think, or something, give the other one
okay,
time to
cool.
breathe or whatever. And I did a whole hour episode that was it was titled episode 33, like with Nick Deez or whatever. And then
Whoops.
you weren't able to be there or whatever, so I did the whole hour or whatever. And then because I have like the little thumbnail, and like I was gonna put up the thumbnail with the big X over your name or next over your face, and then but then I was like, wait, will that start like a comedy beef? He'll be like, man, fuck this guy. Like
No,
I was like, it's great. You know what I mean? Like we talk all the time, but you never know when someone's gonna be sensitive. Like, man, what? I really had a problem.
I wouldn't have even been mad. I'd be like, that's what the fuck I get for not being able to do it. That's so funny.
No, man.
Oh man, now I'm like, you should just do that for this one. Just do a fuck Nick Deez episode, just with me on it, and I just don't know about it the whole time we're doing the episode.
Wait, can I
name big fuck Nick Deez episode?
Can I name the episode "Fuck Nick Deez"?
1000%. Now that you're obligated on our friendship, you have to do that for this episode. That's so fucking funny.
I was like, oh, I was about to post it because I was just like, oh, it, like, you know, I gotta notify the people or whatever. Then I was like, oh wait, you know, I gotta think whether somebody would be like, I'm offended, because you know people get. I did not think you would get offended.
Dude,
I don't think. Yeah,
I am such a big like fuck Nick Deez fan that it's like, yo, you should just do it anyway.
Yo, that should be. You should have some swag. You should have a shirt that says that. You should get a thing. But then I think it's like all of a sudden your fans are like always saying fuck Nick Deez, and at a certain point you're gonna be like, hey, this doesn't feel great.
Years ago, my old guitar. I used to do music before I did stand up, and my old guitar player, the band that he was in before our band, was a band called Captive Eyes, and they had like merch, like they had shirts made that said fuck Captive Eyes. So there would just be people at their shows wearing shirts that said fuck the band that they came to see, which I'm like, that's really funny, until someone like out in public is like, what's wrong?
Right.
What do you have against? Like, I have a shirt from my buddy's tattoo shop. It's a tattoo shop in Richmond called All for One Tattoo. And they made stickers and shirts that say, I hate All for One Tattoo. And I was wearing the shirt somewhere one day, and they're like, why? You have a lot of tattoos. What happened? And I was like, no, I mean, nothing. Yeah.
This is the picture. I'm sorry. I was like, he might be offended if I put this picture with a big X.
That's fucking hilarious. Just put my face on a dartboard with a big fucking dart through my head.
No, I was like, because genuinely, like when someone has something, my first thought is like, damn, I hope they're okay or whatever. You know what I mean? But then
running like, around fucking doing dad stuff and trying to like, you know, find the balance. I'm like, shit, dude, I'm so sorry, I gotta bail. You're like,
nah,
it's
no,
cool, man. I was like, he hates me.
I was like, nah, it's cool. I mean, like it was like, you know, we were about to go live or whatever with it, so I was like, oh shit, what I do? But luckily, I mean, I can talk like a lot, so I was just like, I'll just do it anyway because I had already the thing out. But
right.
And I was like, at first I was, because you were like, is that cool? And I was like, I mean, I guess.
Well, I didn't know it was live streamed at all, so I was like, fuck. Now I'm like, I feel twice as bad today as I did the other day. So.
No, listen, it happens. Shit happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the thing about being a dad. Like right now, this dude something could happen, and then I have to go run out and like, you know, take him to the fucking
life.
Yeah, go save his life or something, because they're always doing something super dangerous. It's like they come out of especially with you have like a little boy, right? Like
yeah, he's 9, so yeah, I mean he's at that age. Like the other day I was at work, and so you're talking about like, you know, just doing like nerdy shit or whatever. So like I this year got into like making custom action figures and stuff like that. That's like my big thing lately that I've been doing.
With a 3D printer? Like 3D
No,
printer?
So literally the desk I'm sitting at has like some of my stuff on it, but yeah, so
that is
I got
fire.
the head sculpt online. It's like a cowboy Ghost Rider, right? So I painted the head myself, and then like I've been taking parts and pieces from other figures and basically making custom characters. So like the kid, he's like been watching me do this, and he wanted to get into it. So like I gave him one that he could work on one. Like here's another one. I'm making a like animated Spider-Man series like Blade figure.
Nice.
Of course I started working on this, and then like the week after I started working on it, they Hasbro announced that they're putting out a new Blade figure. So I'm like, God damn it.
I will say it's kind of fucked up that you showed 3/5 of man right there. That was
Well, I'm taking paint off one of the legs. So like if you look.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Stripping the paint because I'm gonna have to paint these legs. But like look, I could talk about this shit all day. But I got into it, and the kid got excited. So now he wants to make an action figure. He's like, I gotta make an action figure. And she texted me the other day because he was like trying to cut something off of whatever figure he was making, and used a kitchen knife and stabbed himself in the finger, and he was like bleeding and shit.
Oh
So then
wow.
I'm like waiting for the moment where it's like, this is your fault, and I'm like, oh shit, no.
Should have never introduced him to it. Yeah, dude.
I know,
No, that's
dangerous hobbies.
dude, that is that's pretty fire. I mean, it is called the Blerd Dad podcast. And usually like
I know, that's why I figured it fit.
yeah, I usually will ask like what is something that the guest is nerding out about. So I'm guessing like this is something that you're nerding out about. Do you like use heat too? Do you like melt like the pieces to like get them to conform to what you want, or you do
Oh yeah,
that part? Oh, nice.
oh yeah. So like so this one in particular, right? The jacket. So this outer jacket came from like an Old Man Logan figure, right? The head I bought online, so it was like completely blank. It's 3D printed. Somebody 3D printed it, and then like I don't know if you could tell, but like inside that whole like neck hole was empty. So I used hot glue and Vaseline on this neck peg to make it where it would fit on there, and then like painted it out. So now it like looks like a skull. It's it's nice because like the paint that I used on the actual flame part has like it's like a clear coat, like whatever type of paint it is. So it actually has kind of like a shine to it if you see it in person. Uh, and then like this hand is from like another Ghost Rider figure. The vest underneath is from a Marvel MCU Mr. Knight figure. The belt with the gun on it came from like a DC Jonah Hex figure that I just got the other day, literally just for the sake of I bought that figure so that I could take the belt off of it to try to make it fit on this one, because I wanted him to have like a gun on his hip. And then, yeah, I mean, like the Blade figure, like this right here is like it's 3 different figures. So like the the torso is like Black Tom Cassidy from X-Men. The arms, so like the arms are from that figure. The head is from like a War Machine head. The jacket's from like a different figure, and the legs are from a Magneto. So it's like just a bunch of different stuff. Uh-oh.
I forgot to bring myself back into the stream. I said it looks like he has an Arnold Schwarzenegger neck.
Which one? The
Yeah, that one.
Blade?
Yeah, what torso is that?
So the torso is Black Tom Cassidy. It's all these, they're all Marvel Legends figures. So it's
Okay.
Black Tom Cassidy is the torso and the arms, because I wanted that like 90s animated Spider-Man look. And in that,
Yeah.
he has like the gloves on and shit. So like these gloves fit. The jacket is from X-Man, which is like uh, Scott Summers. So it's like I think it's like a form of like Nathaniel Summers from like a different future.
Right,
So
right,
like
right.
if you're familiar, like Cable. So basically, it's like him from a different timeline. I took the
Mhm.
jacket from that. Uh, the torso was Black Tom. The legs, because I wanted these boots. The legs are from a Magneto figure, and then like I said, I'm like stripping the paint
Oh
off
yeah.
of the legs on it. So like the goal with this is I was going to do it this way so that I didn't have to worry about painting a whole bunch to cover things up. But then I got these like other like random like odds and ends like pieces. So this is from like an AIM soldier figure.
Right.
And then like, so what I'll do is I can take this little gun strap, put it on his leg, and then I'll paint this black. I'll paint the boots black and everything. I'm gonna paint the jacket black and then add like a blue like dry brush kind of over top of it, just so that it has like a little like bluish black kind of leather kind of look to it. And then I'm definitely gonna paint the neck so he doesn't have a white man's neck, but But the
Nice.
head was a War Machine head. It was like an unmasked War Machine that I was
Yeah.
like,
They
the
gave
kid
War
got,
Machine like a flat top.
yeah, dude. It's They gave him, and he's got it like you can't really tell on here, but he's got lines cut in the side, which I was
Oh,
like, damn,
nice.
that's cool as shit. And he's got like a tight chin strap like a little like
Yeah.
just short beard, you
Yeah, I
know.
like, and he's got the
But yeah,
little
so like
goatee action.
that's my yeah, dude, that's my shit. That's what I've been like nerding out on. And then this is like another uh this is another piece of like stuff that came off of this Jonah Hex figure. Uh and it was like he has on his back he had like this shotgun. So like the shotgun just kind of
Mhm.
sits in there, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna take that off so I can put it on my, Ghost Rider.
I
So then he'll
never,
be able to wear that on his back and everything when I
I
had the cape
never
on, like
knew,
the coat.
dude, I never knew that these were so configurable. Like, I feel like it's even more so
Oh,
'cause
dude.
back in the day. I like, you could always do that with like GI Joes and stuff like that. But I don't know. I never thought to go like that deep into, like, I was always doing it as like a um because like the toy got broken or something. I remember before
Right.
my sister slammed one of my GI Joes into the door. It was the twins. Remember the twins from GI Joe? The I forget
Yeah,
what
yeah,
their,
yeah. Yep.
like, she slammed one of those I think it's like Zatar and something like that. I forget what their names were, but she slammed one of them in the door and like broke one of them. So, and or she broke both of them, and then I
Damn.
had to take pieces from one to just make one ninja, which I think is an actually great storyline for GI Joe. If like the twins like both get horribly disfigured, only one survives, and then they have to take pieces from the brother to make the other one whole. That's actually a pretty good
I
story.
mean,
I should write that.
that's pretty, I think that's pretty fitting, It's a neat, like, hey, look, check that out kind of thing. But
Right.
yeah, this is like I've been spending so much time and money on these like over the last like year. Um, I bought for this Ghost Rider, I bought there's a so like they do the like build a figures and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
DC had one that they did that was like a build a figure horse for Batman. So
Oh,
it's like
nice.
this big ass horse, and I spent $45 on the horse from like there's like this toy store that I go to that like has all these old like vintage like whatever like it's like the biggest they say that they're the biggest toy store on the East Coast, which is pretty
Right.
cool. They're in Virginia Beach. But I spent $45 on the horse just so that I could have a horse for this Ghost Rider to sit on, because it's like the Carter Slade Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he's got to have a horse. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
regular
Yeah.
Ghost Rider has the motorcycle. He's got the
He's
horse. He
gonna
has
have
to
the,
have the horse. It's
dude.
the only way to do it.
That is so badass, man. You should go. You should make. Have you made yourself yet as an action figure? Like a,
No, my
yeah.
buddy. So there's a friend of mine that like I met online through like, just I forget how I came across his page, but I started like a while ago. So like I did this thing where I just started following a bunch of like toy customizers,
Mm-hmm.
and came across this dude. His name's Matt. He's like a customizer in Canada, and he's fucking incredible. Like his shit is really really good. And I came across his stuff, started following him, struck up like a conversation here and there, and like became really good friends. And that's who like helps me out with all my like, hey, should I try this or should I do that? And yeah, he got me into it pretty heavy. And yeah, it's like that's the type of thing that like if I have questions on this stuff, I'm like coming to him like, hey dude, what's this stuff? How does this work? And he's like throwing me all these alley oops. Last night on my drive home from DC, he had a live stream on Facebook that I just let play for 3 hours while I was driving home.
That's like you like, so he's pretty easy to follow, like
Oh
via
yeah, dude.
like on the YouTubes.
Oh yeah, his stuff on Instagram and YouTube is customs by Matchu, Matchu. And yeah, like I didn't realize, so like you said, like I didn't realize how easy it was to like customize these figures. Not like easy, but like how much like room there was to really like do all these different things with these figures, until I really started like watching all the stuff that he was doing with his, like putting out all these different, like I actually bought uh, a 2099 Punisher from him this year, and dude, it looks so cool. It's super like it's insane how
Fire.
much detail he got put into it, how much like just the level that he does is like, man, it's crazy. And to think that it's like all on a 6-inch like action figure.
Right. Right. Like it's like mad intricate. I've been, oh man, I think when people take time with their art, you know what I mean, and like really focus in on all the little pieces, you know what I mean, like down to the like the peach fuzz on like their neck or something, you know what I mean, like it's
Oh yeah.
like getting like real intricate in it. That's where I feel like the artistry is, man. That's what AI will never replace us. We will always we will always,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or maybe they will. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know the future. Yeah, are you excited about these aliens that they just announced?
Oh yeah, I just saw they posted something about aliens and shit. I
Yeah.
think it'll be cool as long as they like, buy tickets to shows and stuff. I think it'll
Yeah,
be all
dude.
right.
I want to be the first one to I want to be the first intergalactic comedian. Maybe that I'm like, I gotta figure out a place to plant my flag.
That's what I'm saying. I got to get a good crowd work clip with a Martian and be like,
Yeah,
"So,
right.
what's it like fucking white women, huh?" And he's like, like, "Okay."
You like it
So
as
I
much
heard
as
you're
black guys
in
do?
interspatial relationship.
Inter- Oh, I would love it. Oh man, I would love that. Although, who knows what they're I think they're gonna come down and be nice. I think they're because they had a chance to be mean, you know what I mean? Like they unless there are I don't know. Who knows what happens? I don't know.
What
I'm
if
at
they
this
just
point.
come out and they're like, "We've seen Mars attacks, we've seen Independence Day, and we just want to let you guys know we are not those people. Okay, we're not a violent people. We're quite peaceful. We just
That's
came to get invited to the cookout. Like that's
this
all
is
they want."
this is 100% how I feel. I feel like they were gonna come down and be like, "Why are you portraying us in the media like this? We
Dude,
have never
how
done
funny would
that."
that be? Like, when was the last time you ever saw us abduct anyone? Never, never.
Yeah, right.
You're like, we're so
Tentacles. Are
sorry.
you serious? Tentacles.
Then they're like, probing? Really? Probing? You guys think that that's what we want you guys for? It's like, no, dude,
You guys are
that's
always
gross.
so sick. Why are you guys so fascinated with the butt?
Yeah, exactly. A bunch of aliens that are like you smut peddlers, all you weirdos with your porn and your butt stuff and shit. And like, we don't do that up in space.
We have sex like your Demolition Man. That was a great film. That's how
A great movie. The
we
three
we
seashells.
we do it
He doesn't know about
telepathically.
the three seashells?
Well, dude, it's been pretty
Hell yeah.
incredible talking to you. I hope this was fun. I'm glad that you
It was a
you
lot of
got
fun.
yeah. I'm glad that there was no hard feelings. We did, there was like you were out.
It's
I was like, oh, am I
thanks
being
so much.
because I was like, oh, I gotta hurry up and jump on this stream. So I was just like, all right, cool. Like, like, sorry,
No,
I hope
that's
everything's all
beautiful. I
right.
love it.
And
That's
then,
so funny.
and I jumped on the thing, but I was like, I wonder if he thinks I'm being too curt. Like I'm being like,
No,
he's
I love it. I love it.
but I'm glad we got it all worked out, dude. We're gonna have to talk about this
Oh yeah.
artwork. Do you have any
Yeah.
shows or anything coming up that you want to like plug or talk about?
Yeah. I mean, not that anybody's really gonna see it, but I'm doing Magooby's
Thanks,
competition
Nick.
tonight.
I have
No, I
views.
meant like
Okay.
tonight. I meant tonight. Not that anyone's gonna see it tonight. You said it's not gonna come out till Monday. Fuck
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Now put an X over your face. All right, now you're off my show. All right. I'm doing yes, I'm doing that tonight. I have a show in Richmond tomorrow. It's a don't tell show. Church of Satire. I'm headlining there on Saturday. And
Nice.
then coming up, I'm doing August 10th, I'll be at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone with Ian Bagg. August 24th, I'll be at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone hosting the competition there. I'll be in actually, you know what? Next weekend, the 4th, 5th, and 6th, I will be at the Richmond Funny Bone featuring for Nate Jackson.
Oh, that's
Um,
exciting.
yeah, I'm super excited. All the shows except for the late show Sunday are sold out. They just added a second show to Sunday, so I got asked to do it. My buddy was like, "I already told them that you're doing it. I told them you could do it, so please say yes." And I was like, "Dude, without question, I'd love
Right.
to." And I looked up Nate's stuff, and it's like he's really really funny, so I'm super excited. And yeah, it's cool to like get to work a almost full sold out weekend. So get tickets to the late show Sunday while you still can. Come hang out. It'll be fun.
Nice. Is everything up on your website as well?
Uh, for the most part, I need to update my website with my actual show dates. I tried to figure out a way to just input a Google Calendar on there and
Mm-hmm.
drop the dates on, but it wouldn't populate properly.
Uh,
Uh, so I just have to go in and add all the shows manually. So I think Monday I'm going to go in and just put all the shows I have coming up and drop them on my website. So that'll be updated. But yeah.
Well, you see it down below. You can check him out at Nick Deez Comedy on Instagram, or Doodles by Deez if you want to see that awesome artwork. Yeah, look out for him, man. This guy is up and coming. He's like yeah, you're incredibly funny, man. I've always had a good time hanging out. We never had like an extended conversation, so I'm glad that we got to have like this conversation. And then next time I see you in person, I'm gonna be like, yo, it's my boy.
I know. Yeah, I've done a couple. I think we've done a couple shows together. I've done a couple of your shows.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're running the show, it's like so hard to sit and actually talk to people that are on it.
Right.
Like you're like, yeah, okay, sure. I got to give this person a light. Hold that.
Yeah,
thought. We'll
right.
be back in a couple minutes.
Or someone's asking you like,
yeah,
oh, where's the seat? Can I get and you're just like, it's like,
hey, where's the bathroom at? You're like, God damn it! You walk past it. Okay, it's right there.
That's the funny
thing. Dude, thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I just I was gonna say that's the funny thing about like when you're also a comedian and you have friends coming out, because they use you as the point of contact as if you work like so they're asking you all the different questions, like, hey, do they have food here? Like, hey, I was thinking about getting a chicken sandwich. How is like, dude, I gotta perform. Let me perform.
Also, it's like, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't cook it. I just come here to tell jokes like once a month at the show that they let me run here. And like, I don't know if the chicken cordon bleu here is worth buying. I don't fucking know. I don't eat chicken cordon bleu. I get a salad and a sandwich, dude. I don't fucking know. Just eat what you want. Be happy about it.
Maybe eat it from the person that you're ordering it from. Maybe they know.
Exactly. Ask someone who works here. They know. They have way more skin in this game than me.
Yeah. No, but we love all our fans. Ask us any questions. It's fun. We 100%. Anyways, it's been amazing. You've been talking to Nick Deez, and I have, of course, your host, Glennlawrence. And yeah, this is fun. We're gonna have to do more like this. I want more like this. I want more shows where I could be like, man, fuck that guest, and still have love at the end of it. You know?
Hell yes, dude. I set the bar, you losers. Fuck you.
Set the bar, dude. Anyway, I've been Glennlawrence. This is the Blerd Dad Podcast, and we're out. Stay blerdy, y'all.